This program is part of the Infinite Potato Alliance. Visit us at infinitepotato.com.
I'm Jared Stern. I think people should listen because we're desperate for attention right now.
I'm also Jared Stern. This is what I like to call an exercise in benign narcissism. And
You're Between Two Sterns.
Here we are, live once again from Satan's Ass Crack.
We're back.
Live and in person.
You look like you lost weight on your vacation. Your face
Thank you.
looks thinner.
Thank you.
Maybe it's the tan?
It's very possible. But I ate a lot and we walked a lot.
Mhm.
I was hoping against hope that those two things offset. And maybe they did. Maybe
They might have.
Maybe I might be a couple pounds to the negative.
You've been gone for 2 weeks.
Yes.
That is, at a certain point, is that a vacation?
We needed a vacation from the vacation. It was a long time to be away.
Did you have a reset day when you got back? Like, did you get back and then immediately go to work the next day?
No. We got back like Saturday night. And then we had the Sunday to kind of
just
recalibrate and then right back into regular. I had to remember what I did for a living, which was tough.
I feel like a vacation, to me, the tipping point of a vacation is, and you might not have had to deal with this, but when you have to start washing your clothes.
We did laundry.
As part of the vacation,
Yeah.
This has moved beyond a vacation. Like 2 weeks is too much.
But we knew with the amount of clothes that we were taking,
right.
I kind of portioned out certain things knowing that there was laundry on the boat.
That's fair. I just feel like, it's a boat, because it's so, at a certain, like, when the Oregon Trail was not a vacation.
No,
that
it was
an
not.
expedition.
It was an expedition. It
And
was a sojourn, yes.
Yeah, and on a boat as well, which, like, that confined space with all those people. I can't wait to hear about all the friends you made on the boat.
We did not make our regular complement of boat friends.
Here's the thing. I don't think your instinct was incorrect. Like, your shock when you were like, and did you make friends? And I was like, I don't fucking talk to people on boats.
No, we do.
No, I don't. And you were shocked. You were like, you don't? And here's the thing. I would say, people who don't know us, if you were to ask between the two of us,
Who's the more social?
which one would you assume is the social, always around people person, and which is the, like, Larry David, I don't want you to be near me. This is where we play against archetype a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, a 2-week vacation, I did a couple of things, but, like, I had breaks in between. Also, by the way,
I should hope you had breaks in between.
By the way, from a societal and global standpoint, nothing happened while you were
No,
gone.
nothing at all.
Part
of the reason why we came back when we did is we wanted to miss the fucking parade.
Yeah.
So,
the parade was just the first of many stupid things that are going on.
of course. No.
Right now.
I've been home. I know.
Yeah, actually, I think they waited until you got back before it started. They were like, "Oh, is Jared back? Great, then we can start all."
I'll
the
tell
bullshit."
you how good my vacation was. Right immediately after we left, there was a massive protest in Europe against the thought of tourism, just against tourism in general.
Oh, I love that.
Because apparently Europe has become so choked with tourists that the people who actually live in these small towns.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought they were protesting against simply American tourists.
Oh, well, sure. Any kind of tourism. Mm-hmm. Because apparently the staff at the Louvre were on strike because they couldn't handle the amount of people going through there. And I'll talk about it when I start going through the list here. But
I never look down at your list of things that you're planning on talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm going to float out what my eye immediately was
I know.
and it's a long list with a lot of words, and immediately all I saw was naked dating show. And I hope this is the next venture for you and John Irons. Like, all the success with the Yo Mom.
Let's talk about what you did first. You said you had some things that you did. Let's get through those real quick.
Yeah, so we went out of town. We went out of town so it was like Rachel's birthday and then our anniversary, like bing bang, right back to back. And so we split them. For Rachel's birthday, we went to Berkeley Springs, West Virginia.
Oh, very nice.
So what I really like about Rachel is one of the things Rachel said, she was like, one of the gifts I want is to not have to plan anything for my birthday, which I get. Yeah. That's me also. But she's also really good about giving me like all of the things that she wants me to do for her birthday. So it was like, wants to swim in a natural body of water, wants to be in an area that feels like you're a tourist there, but is not touristy in nature. Sure. And just a bunch of bullet points. And I don't know if you saw last night, John Oliver did a huge takedown about AI.
I did.
We don't have to get into it. I agree with every. Hold on. Wait.
I watched it and I was like, I'm showing this to Jared.
I figured as much. I watched it today. Agree with all of it. However, one of the things AI is really good for is, hey, Chappie, my girlfriend has a bullet point list of things she wants to do. Kick me out some ideas so I can go. And so it floated out Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Never been to West Virginia before. Never been to West Virginia. And
there are some very nice parts of West Virginia.
I've been to Hollywood. I've been to West Hollywood. There are similarities and there are differences. I've been to Virginia. I've now been to West Virginia. There are a lot of differences.
But here's the thing. Have you really been to Virginia?
Well,
I don't think you have.
I've been to every aspect of Virginia at this point.
I don't think so.
Rachel was born in the Shenandoah Valley. Every time I visit one of her relatives over the weekend, I'm in the car for 3 to 6 hours.
Okay, all right.
I've been to Lynchburg. I've been to
you've been to Virginia.
I've been French. I've been all over Virginia.
But if you go to really Southern Virginia, you've pretty much been to West Virginia.
That's fair. I will say that there was a lot of really genuine Southern hospitality over there. Mm-hmm. Very, very nice area. First day we get there, and as we pull, first of all, we went the night before, and it was like this white, yellow level storm that we drove through.
Oh, wow.
And Rachel was driving. At one point I was like, are you good? She was like, oh yeah. I mean, we were going.
Did you guys drive through that derecho then?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that was a storm.
And we drove through, we didn't pull off, we drove through it. And by we drove through it, I mean she drove through it. And she killed it. She did a great job driving.
She also probably killed a couple of people.
Hopefully. We wouldn't have felt it if we didn't. I think that's the main takeaway. But I know, I'm adjusting my leg. I didn't bang I just missed my leg as I was adjusting.
Okay.
And so drove up there, got in the night before, but we needed breakfast the next day. So we went to what was said to be one of the best breakfast spots in all of Berkeley Springs.
Great.
Which was listed as Tom's, I forget, but it's Betty Lou's. Mm-hmm. And it is a cafe attached to a gas station.
Oh, you know what? Some of the best food you'll ever eat in the South, I don't know if West Virginia counts as the South, but is gas station adjacent.
We walk in, it's called Betty Lou because there are thousands and thousands of Betty Boop dolls.
Oh.
Everywhere.
Wow.
Like a 1920s nightmare.
That's a heck of a collection to have.
Maybe I'll try and pull it up for this. I tried to sneak a photo and some videos. There were a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And we walked in and every scene from My Cousin Vinny?
Yes.
Where it's like, bow, and we walked in and it was very clear immediately that we weren't supposed to be there. And didn't know what
was there an audible record scratch when you walked into those places?
There was a quietness that came over, and it was busy. There were what looked like a bunch of regular home tables, not restaurant, just regular, an assortment of tables that have been collected, an assortment of chairs that have probably been collected from homes over the years, some very cute butterfly tablecloth, and a bunch of people sitting around. And we kind of looked, and we were kind of looking around, and somebody turned around and was like, hey there, you can just go on up to the counter and they'll make you whatever you want. That was it. No, have you been here before? There was no question from their mind that we needed assistance.
Yeah. And I'm sure they've encountered that in the past.
100%. And they were so sweet. The reason why I chose, and ultimately we chose Berkeley Springs, is because it has the oldest bathhouse in the entire country. And so what it does is it takes natural hot spring water and filters it into the bathhouse.
I think I might have been to this place.
Really? George Washington?
Yes. Because this is out by, what's the resort that's out by there? The, hang on one second, it'll come to me. Because we had our we had a for like our first or our second anniversary, we went the Homestead. That's the name of it.
Yeah, there is the Homestead out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
The Homestead is this luxury resort, and we went out to the Homestead, and
Is it luxurious?
super luxurious.
Really?
Yes. So like there was they also they have excursions for you to do at the Homestead, like you would off the boat.
I think the Homestead might be in. I think I was looking at the Homestead.
The Greenbrier.
I don't know. I remember seeing the word Homestead
down there.
There's definitely something out there.
Okay.
There's no question.
All I know is one of my favorite lines that I've ever heard uttered by a human was said to me and Andrea when we went to the Homestead and we're looking for something to do. We hadn't booked our activities in advance, and we were looking to find out things we could do on the grounds. And we went up to the concierge, and we were asking about, because they had a falconer, and I heard the line, and we quoted to each other all the time. "I'm sorry, sir, the falconer is sick today." So yes, that kind of experience is available to you at the Homestead.
The entire experience was great. I booked a Airbnb that I didn't realize had a 45-degree angle to drive up. And with the rain, the phrase, "I'm going to make it." Do you remember the Three Amigos? Gonna make it, gonna make it, gonna make it, gonna make.
Nope.
You don't remember Three Amigos?
I do
Steve
remember,
Martin?
I do remember Three Amigos. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Each time we drove up there was this question. We counted it down. We were like, we only need to do this 2 more times. But one of the best parts about it was we did the hot springs, so good, or the bathhouse, so good.
Mm-hmm.
People were so sweet. Food was meh. But like, small town, man. All right. She was like, I want to do like an activity outside. So I found kayaks.
Oh, cool.
Down the Potomac River. The Potomac.
I'm sorry?
The Potomac.
Okay.
Potomac River. So I called up and I was like, hey. And he was like, yeah, we can do that. Just meet me at this place parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, cool. Do you have an address? No, just look up Chuck's Bar.
Chuck's Kayaks.
No, Chuck's Bar. I was like, okay. So on the day, we get there, we're driving down, and thankfully it wasn't raining. We were concerned about rain, but Rachel was like, I don't think it's going to rain. I was like, okay, we get down there. And this guy, whoever I booked it with, Barry, was like, yeah, I'm going to have a guy down there, black Ford, he'll have your kayaks.
There you go. Sounds easy enough.
We get down there, we start, bug spraying up, we start sunscreening up.
Mm-hmm.
This guy comes up, he goes, you the two at, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock? Yeah, okay. And he's like, all right, we're just going to get on in and drive up there. And Rachel goes back to the car, and I'm using context clues being like, I think he means we need to get into his car. He's going to drive us up, and then we'll kayak down. Mm-hmm. Which was the last firm thought I had, because as I got into the truck, I smashed the shit out of my head in the roof of his car, at which point he started looking at me like I was a complete moron. So we drive 10 minutes up, 15 minutes up, 20 minutes up. He's like, just so you know, it's about a 2-hour float, but don't kayak too hard because you get it done in like 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
We're like, sure. He drives us up, then off to another road, then onto a back road, then onto a gravel road, then onto a non-road, which he's barely narrowing going between trees, to the point where Rachel and I look at each other and be like, how's this motherfucker going to get out of the woods? Like, we get there, he goes, okay, well, you can use your life rafts, but you're old enough, you can figure it out. Pulls the kayaks out and he goes, you guys good? And there's no river. There's like a little brook, and we're like, well, where do we assume we go deeper into the woods that way, because he's like, I'll help you carry it over there. So we carry it over there, and then there's like a little path, which ironically enough is the whatever path, the main path, the canal path out here in DC. It goes all the way. It goes all the way along that Potomac, all the way out there. Crazy. So now we're standing there, and we see another like 45-degree angle slope. He's like, you're just going to lead the and like a little rope that's like nailed into posts, and you hold onto that rope and go down. Sure. So just lead it in, get in, go. And we're like, okay. At one point I had made a comment where I was like, yeah, I'm used to just getting kayaks and kind of like kayaking and then coming back. And he's like, oh, well, you couldn't kayak upstream here. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I had, after we had gotten out of the boat and he left, I was like, and by the way, he's probably not talking to people like us. Like, we're fit people, we're athletic.
Sure.
We could kayak. I'm not saying we want to.
What class were the rapids
And
you
I'm-
encountered?
No rapids.
No rapids?
No
Okay.
rapids. I'm not saying we want to do it, but if it was like 50, like a 50-yard, like we could
Okay.
like go upstream. This is not that difficult.
But he's going to be downstream.
Well, he's gone. He dropped us off,
Right.
and then once we're done, yeah, but we're going downstream. What I was saying was he made it seem like it was impossible to do this, and I
Did
was
you
like,
try?
no, no. I'm just saying, like, so we get in and we start going down this 45-degree angle, and like because of the rain and the mud, Rachel goes 1st, and I was like, you go, I'll take the back of your kayak and lead you down. She gets down there, and at a certain point, just wipes out on the mud and just goes ass into the mud because she's wearing sandals. And in my head, for a second there, I was like, why are you wearing your Crocs? Like, I got my Crocs on. I got them in 4-wheel drive mode. Like, what are we doing? Like, why do we own Crocs?
Yes,
We're
the
not gonna-
supreme traction of Crocs.
So I'm like, you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. So I start leading hers down. Da-da-da-da-da. I hit the exact spot she was in and wipe the fuck
Ass
out.
over tea kettle. There you
Even
go.
with the Crocs. So I get her boat in. She's like, you okay? She's like, I'm fine. Get in. She's muddy. She's trying to. I go back up now. I need to get mine down. I was like, all right, don't do it again. You got this. You got this. So I start leading it down with my handle, go down. Now I'm doing that side-to-side move, right? And I get down there. I get past that point. I put my foot down for just 1 second, slide out again. So I've now hit the mud twice now.
Okay.
Get in there. We get on the kayaks. We start rinsing things off. We rinse our shoes off. Now we get into it. Kayaking around. Here's some good old boys blasting country music off to the side.
Okay.
Great. We're kayaking around. Do a little kayaking. The sun's out. It's beautiful. We go around. We begin discussing with ourselves, I wonder where our exit is. Like, at no point did he establish what our exit was or when we get off. And we're like, I'm sure we'll see it when we get to it. Start boating a little bit more. Then there's a group of people up in front of us. And I'm a little bit further ahead than Rachel because we did hit like a little bit of like, little ramp, nothing crazy, just a little bumpy. And so we go past that, we're navigating around. These guys are out fishing, so like in order to avoid them, we kind of went single file. So I went forward, she went behind me.
Okay.
I had taken off my shirt, Rachel's in a bikini, and as I'm going ahead, these guys are like, hey there, where are you going? And start focusing on her. I was like, absolutely not. I turned back around and go back. We meet back up, they're very pleasant. So now we're going around. We're on the river. It starts getting dark.
What time were you kayaking?
12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Shouldn't get dark.
Some clouds in the sky.
Oh.
I was like, oh, it's getting a little... And then all of a sudden, just like the gentlest little drops. Like the sweetest, like just cooling you off, like
Just
the gentle
damn near
splash.
poetic.
Just a gentle splash. And then Rachel said the following words in the following order.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, like if we weren't even on the water, I wouldn't even notice it was raining if I didn't see the droplets on the river.
Okay.
At which point the storm decided to say,
Oh
yeah, and opened up the fucking floodgates. The storm is crashing down on us at this point. Now we're outrunning it. And we see like a little exit area off to the left, and we're like, that must be it. How could it not be
Well,
it?
how long were you on the water at that
We were
point?
trying to gauge it at that point. We're looking about like 45 minutes. So like, but we weren't like,
It's a 2-hour float.
but we weren't like, it was tough to gauge like what the subjective nature of 2 hours was. But it was about 40, 50 minutes. So we're paddling. We get off to that area. A couple of guys standing there. And she's like, is that it? I was like, check. It's raining, right? And so as we're approaching the landing, we outrun the rain. The rain stops.
Oh, great.
And I go, hey, is this whatever, 15-mile run? Is this 5-mile run? And the guy was like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay, it must be a little bit further. So I pull away.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I decide to take out my phone,
Okay. Great
check
call.
my GPS. And after we're about, I don't know, 20 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards away from there, notice that is 15-mile run.
Oh.
That is the exit. So I go, oh, that is it. So now we have to turn around.
And you're going to test
Paddle
test this theory.
Upstream
Mm-hmm. Can you?
against the water.
Yeah, that's what
that has
upstream means.
been infused with the power of the storm that just occurred. And we paddle with all our might and stay stationary.
Uh-huh.
At which point I start kicking it into high gear, and I'm barely able to crawl up there. Rachel can't move. And Rachel's like, I can't move. And I was like, okay, just go, go, go. We're not moving at all. So we float back. We kind of jut off to the sides. And by the way, you have the landing area. And then everything downstream of that is dense trees, rocks, thickets, and like what little grass there is folded the opposite direction of where we're going. Because like the wind and the rain has obviously overcome it. It's not walkable. So now we're off to the side, and she's like, maybe we should get out of the boat and try getting out of the boat. I was like, it's pretty deep right here. I was like, we got to gear up, lock in, take my rope and hold my rope. So then I start going.
I'm paddling for two.
And that didn't work. Still stuck there. We're looking at it. It's 15. It's 10 yards away. Like it's right there.
Sure.
And we're just struggling. You know, half the people on this fucking river have like motor boats attached to their rafts anyway. One motherfucker was on a jet ski at one point. It's like nobody's seeing us struggling, help us. Anyway. So then it's like, okay, we gotta push through and go again. So I go and Rachel goes, and I look behind and I'm like, where is, and Rachel is in the middle of the river. Assuming that it's slower in the middle of the river than this side.
She went the long way.
She went around like this. She also very quickly learned that it's not slower in the middle of the river. It's faster. So now she's pulled back. I'm pulled back. I'm back off to the side. I'm like, okay, pause here for a second. I'm going to try and get out and see if we can walk this thing. And so she goes, okay. She's standing there. She's like, okay. She's like struggling in the raft. I get out of the raft, and the time it takes me to get out and put my feet on the wall, which by the way came up to here, it was not safe to do that. I turn around and she is gone. She does not exist anymore. Rachel? Yeah, I hear her down and around. I was like, get off why are you off to the side? I don't know why I'm not off to the side. Get off, okay, get off to the side. All right, I think I'm off. Fuck. So I jump up, drag my boat onto the side, and look into the dense woods, and I go, fuck. All I'm afraid of are snakes, spiders, and everything that's going to eat me.
But then I went probably littered in that thicket. Sure.
What I convinced myself of, what I said to myself was, Jared, you have watched 37 seasons of Survivor.
Let's see if you've osmosed anything.
Let's fucking do this. Like,
this is your audition tape.
There is no other option at this point. You've tried paddling, you can't walk it. It's either here or death. Those are the two options at this point. So I power through and I walk through, and it's just got my foot sinking into shit. And I look, and okay, the visual of this is going to be kind of difficult. So this water, if you're looking for it and the water's going downstream, there's kind of like a little bay that wraps back around to the left. So if you were to make a hard left, there's a little bit of water in like almost like a very tiny like still bay area.
Okay.
On the corner of that wraparound is a tree. And I get to that bay, I'm like, Rachel, where are you? And Rachel is somehow in the tree facing downstream.
I'm sorry, in the tree?
So the tree
She got out of the boat into the tree.
She's in the boat. The tree is over on the water, like it's growing out in
big roots over to
the branches and stuff are hovering over top of the water. She must have tried to turn into the tree, and then pulled a full 360 in the tree, and is caught in the tree facing downstream.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, can you get out of the tree into the bay? And she's like, what the fuck do you think I'm trying to do?
So what you're saying is we almost didn't have this podcast right now.
I wanted to note that we did the bathhouse that morning at 9:30, 10. So we were relaxed.
Sure.
We were calm. And then we did this.
And then you were not.
So she finally gets the thing out and around and manages to get into the bay. And she sees what I just walked through and what we both need to walk through. And she's like, I was like, listen to me. You're going to get out of the boat. All you're going to be responsible for is carrying the oar. I am going to carry all of the boats. And so I grabbed her boat, and I started dragging it over these rocks and branches and trees and pushing myself through. I was like, just follow me. So she's following me through. I then get to my boat. I grab, because like they got little ropes on the front of it. I grab that, and now I'm double pulling both of these kayaks, pushing through the woods. The kayaks are catching on branches, so it's resisting me, and then snapping backwards. At one point, this pulled one branch like all the way back.
And damn near hit her in the face.
Like inches from taking out one of her eyes.
Oh.
So we get to one area that's too dense to carry both of the boats through, and she's like, I was like, I will carry one boat through, then the other boat through, then we will both go through. And so I carry one, and then the other. Then we get out to a little area where we can just barely walk through the water to get up on there. And as we get up and dragging it, sweating, I've got scratches all over myself. I'm just, and I still see those guys, and I go, for the record, this is 15-mile, whatever. And they're like, oh, sorry. And like, drag these kayaks up, throw them up onto the grass, because that's where we were told to keep them. I look back, she's walking out with the oars. She looks at me and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm so sorry for yelling at you back then. I was just really, really scared. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, you're fine. We're both fine. You good? She's like, yeah. I was like, here, take the bag. I need to go rinse off in the water. And I just went into the water and rinsed off, and I felt good.
Yeah.
I felt
that was a
good.
That was a manly accomplishment.
It was a manly accomplishment. I manned up in that moment, or humaned up. It doesn't matter. Like I just felt connected to my survival instinct.
Well, you were connected to nature in nature almost overtook you.
Yeah. The time between the statement, I wouldn't have that. Like, because I even said it in the car. Like, I think we could, like, if we were to miss the exit,
all right, we could
I said those words. If we missed the exit, we could easily turn around and paddle back upstream. Just like she said the words, if we weren't on the river, I wouldn't even know that it was raining. So when we got back to the car, I was like, if we had $1 million, I'd be okay right now. But that part didn't happen.
No.
It was just 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what I have learned from this experience is something I firmly believe in. Something I said to her very early on in our relationship, which is, I love when things don't go right. I really do. I really, really do. I've had plenty of experiences in my life where things went perfect, and I barely remember any of them.
You'll remember this.
But I love when things don't go right, and you get to have this shared experience with someone, and like you overcome, and like, yeah.
And you get to just have a podcast episode. You just filled 27 minutes.
I mean, I filled some of it. I needed to get through that kayaking thing was fucking hilarious. I'm glad we got a chance to share.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm going to kick it over to you.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I can even follow my boat experience.
I think you've got this. You can follow this.
So, Andrea and I had the polar opposite waterborne vacation. We were on a cruise ship that we picked up in Lisbon, Portugal.
Okay.
And so we traveled through 8 different countries over the course of 12 days on the boat. Then we had a couple extra days in Lisbon on one end, and a couple extra days in Copenhagen, where everything ended up. The trip was fantastic. It was equally amazing and exhausting. You never do more walking than when you're on vacation. I think we walked a half marathon in like 5 different countries.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, yes, do I look thinner? Sure.
I think so.
I put in the work.
You did. This is the effort you put in.
So, all right, so we started off in Lisbon. And we did some touring around there and ate some very wonderful food at a Michelin star restaurant in Lisbon. It was fantastic. A lot of uphills. In Portugal, basically every story that an elder has told you about walking uphill both ways, they probably were in Portugal at the time. But here's some things that I noticed in Lisbon. So when you're in Europe, when you're in a foreign country, you see a lot of different car makes and models while you're out there. And I noticed, so I drive a Hyundai Kona.
Yes.
And as we were driving around and, kind of exploring the city, I noticed that the same model of car is called a Hyundai Kauai. And I was wondering, I was wondering why that is. And I asked our tour guide, because you don't know what words mean in different languages. It could be like a Chevy Nova situation. You know the
No, what's the Chevy Nova situation?
you can't. They had to change the name of the Chevy Nova in Mexico because in Spanish, Nova means no go.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be a good...
The Chevy No Go doesn't work. But so apparently what I found out is they had to change the name of the Hyundai Kona because in Portuguese, Kona means vag.
How did they not think that would move units?
I don't know. What's it going to take to get you inside this vag?
I mean...
Hey, wow, you know, this Hyundai vag is really roomy.
I feel like the marketing writes itself.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's...
Bigger on the inside.
Exactly. Now, your eyes took you to this other note.
I did see that.
So we were in our hotel. We were in our hotel in Lisbon. And when you're, you know, when you're in, again, when you're in another country and you have to watch the hotel TV. Hotel TV in America doesn't give you a whole lot of options, but hotel TV in a foreign country, it's a complete crapshoot. You have no idea what you're going to get. Sometimes you might get, you know, subtitled English stuff. Well, we were flipping channels and came upon this show. And again, couldn't understand a goddamn word that was being said, but it looked like it was a dating show. And you had this very schlubby guy who's like dressed in a hoodie, very, like he looked like he rolled out of goddamn bed to go on this TV show. And he is presented with like 3 pods. Where you can see through some of the pods, you can see different, like some of the different women that are available to him, and they just are stark naked. The women are naked and don't even I guess because we're a puritanical society, we've been, you know, that's a no-no for us. But in Portugal. Doesn't matter. And these are not like supermodels or anything. These are just regular women.
When you say fully naked, is it like different sections you get to see, or is it just head to toe?
I only saw a very little bit. We were very tired that day, and we were kind of flipping channels. And
that didn't wake you up?
It did a little bit, but...
I would not have slept that night. I would have been like, we're binging this entire series.
Right. Well, in any case, so this one woman was just sitting there being interviewed by the host, and... fielding questions from the guy as to what might make them compatible, and I have no idea what those things were.
Did you see her face?
Yes.
Did he see his face?
Yes.
Her face?
Yes.
And he was clothed?
Yes, completely.
This is my issue. This is my issue with this show. He should have been naked also. What if these women are like, I don't think so.
Listen, I agree with you, but yeah, this was, if you're looking for a dating show, go to Portugal. Is all I can say there. But I wish I had more to tell you. I wish I could have done. I didn't do any more research on it. I just fell asleep.
I'll do the research on it, don't you worry.
From there, before we got on the boat, we went to a place called Sintra. I don't know if you're familiar with Sintra, but it is kind of like a mountain town where old palaces, old abandoned palaces from years and years past are there on display for, you know, it's like a UNESCO heritage site. You can go and tour these places.
Well, that sounds cool.
Yeah, but like this is where I kind of got the idea, you know, about the tourist protest I was telling you about. Yeah. I kind of got a feeling for why those take place. Because there are banners all over Sintra that some of them are in Portuguese, but one of them was in English, and it said a traffic jam in paradise. And so our tour guide got us there very early. We got there like 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. The streets were clear, beautiful. We basically had the whole place to ourselves. We walked through the streets of I guess downtown Sintra, like, you know, the little like village area of it, and then you walk uphill to get in line for one of the palaces to to go and tour through it, which was beautiful. I'll attach pictures so that we can include them in this recap. But it was amazing stuff. But when we came back down the hill at around noonish, the entire area, the area that we had just walked freely through, was choked.
Really?
With tourists. The streets were absolutely clogged, and we actually found, when we got back in the car to drive to another palace in a different part of town.
Yeah.
And we were behind like a transport vehicle, like a transport van.
Yeah.
And on the back was a sticker that was called, the company was called The Fucking Tourists. So that's the general opinion of tourism in Sintra. Anyway, so we get on the boat. First stop is Porto in Portugal. And we were advised to seek out a specific sandwich in Porto that's specific to Porto. It's called a francesinha.
Okay, tell me about this sandwich.
It translates to little French girl. I'm not sure why, but it is a sandwich with various meats, steak, ham, sausage.
Do you get your choice, or is it a combination of them?
It's a combination of them, and they're on It's not Texas. It's not Texas toast. It's like poor toast, I guess.
Gotcha.
But thick slices of toast. You put everything together. Put it in a panini press.
Okay.
Then the panini press. Then the sandwich comes out. It is covered with slices of cheese, and then smothered in gravy, with French fries around it, and then the cheese is melted on top. It is. Yep. Oh yeah. It did not. It did not eat light, and that was. Not great to sit in your stomach while walking through the rest of Porto.
Like a lead weight, just right, yeah.
Yep, completely. We managed to find a spot because apparently the Amazing Race ran through Porto in the last season, and so we were like, hey, I see, this was where they had the mat to meet Phil, and this is where they had one of their
because you've seen it.
roadblocks.
Did you watch that season?
Yeah, we watched it. We didn't we weren't able to pinpoint the exact location of some of these things, but we're like, I recognize those boats, I recognize this river, I recognize this bridge. That was kind of cool. All right, so then we from Porto we ping-ponged in between 4 different ports in England and France. First, we hit a Channel island called Guernsey.
Oh yeah, Guernsey.
And you've heard of Guernsey? No, okay. I think that might be where the cows come from. I don't know. Anyway, some very lovely little points of interest. It was a quaint little island, and apparently, so 2 things about our cruise. First of all, it was very old and it was very white, much like the audience at the Howie Mandel show. Very old, very white, and I think the reason for that is because of the time that it was taking place, and also the ports that we were hitting. Because the anniversary of D-Day happened while we were on the boat, and the ports we ended up going to were, you can go to the beaches of Normandy, you can go to Dunkirk. Guernsey was also occupied by Germany during World War II. There was a lot of war stuff. Yeah. You had the Anne Frank Museum in Amsterdam. There's a lot of stuff to see.
Anne Frank Museum was in Alabama.
Yeah.
Deep cut.
Deep cut. Yeah.
Go back to
the deep cut of the last episode. Anyway, so there were a lot of dads and granddads that were on the boat specifically for that stuff. We did not go on this trip to learn a fucking thing.
And yet
I learned that Kona means vag.
You went on this trip to avoid the parade, and yet the parade came to you.
Yeah, sure, right.
Old and white.
Listen,
and all of the...
By the way, we had to do so much apologizing and explaining to other people on the boat. As soon as they found out we were from DC, people from Denmark, people from Australia were like, what the fuck is going on? How could half of the people vote for him? And we're like, no, it wasn't half the people. It was half the people who voted, and that's not a large representative portion of the population. Anyway, that's a completely opposite thing. We went on this trip to avoid that shit. We tried to as best we could. Yes, those who don't learn history just erase it later. That's what we're finding out. Mm-hmm. So, in Dover, they had their big on the last boat we had dinner at Ephesus. That was like the big hook for that boat. This one they had a kind of like a miniature Renaissance festival at a castle in Dover on the White Cliffs of Dover.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, after having gone to many a Renaissance festival, mostly the Maryland Renaissance Festival, there is a special air of authenticity when the people who are performing have actual British accents. Yeah, that does help. So that was really cool. We got a chance to do that. When we were in Dover, I was a little disappointed that their dollar store was not called Pound Town. Missed opportunity in my humble estimation.
That's England?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dover's in England. Pound is there.
I'm not going to lie to you. The moment you said Dover, I was like, I didn't know you went to Delaware. And then I got that locked in.
You're right. The cruise from Portugal to Delaware and then to France. That's why it was such a long trip.
It was old and white.
Dover
is the capital.
Yes, it is. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. I was a little disappointed that they didn't go full out. There were not giant turkey legs at this Renaissance Festival atmosphere thing. There was no extra food. But it was really cool to actually walk around a genuine British castle. From there, we went to Dunkirk, and again, we were not interested in the history of Dunkirk. We have seen the movie.
I haven't.
You haven't seen Dunkirk? It's really good. But we did take a bus to Bruges in Belgium.
Okay.
And we went on a canal boat ride and attended a chocolate making demonstration.
I feel like each day of your trip could be its own episode.
I know.
I feel like
touching
you're
on
just
detail.
hitting these bullet points.
I kind of have to.
I feel like next week you're going to have to come back with some more in-depth, and so I really want to dive into the,
Yeah, sure. So the other thing about the boat, so yes, it was very old and very white. The other thing is, aside from the excursion to Bruges, we didn't do any other excursions that were organized by the boat, because this cruise line was kind of apparently they got bought out a couple years ago, and so the level of service has declined in the past couple of years, according to people who have been on previous trips on this particular cruise line. But it seemed like they were really nickel and diming you. To go to the excursion of Porto on your own, where they just drop you off in the city center. How much do you think Porto on your own was?
I just got back from a boat, so I know how much they're gouging you. On your own should not cost any more than $40 a piece.
Okay, $80 a person to do Porto on your own. So what we decided was, it was a lot of
for it.
I know, right? I know. They're not doing anything at that point. They're just dropping you off. So what we did, and we were very proud of ourselves, we were able to navigate public transportation in 5 different countries, regardless of language.
So they were charging you to take you from the boat to
the city center, drop you off, and then pick you back up later.
I thought you weren't allowed off the boat.
No, of course we were allowed off the boat.
Sheets across the side, rappelling down.
No, you're allowed off the boat.
Very proud of ourselves. We set up a zip line.
Right. Yeah. But no, I thought it was being able to navigate, different metro stops and bus stops.
That's incredible.
In different languages.
That's tough.
It is tough. And so we were able to do that without fucking up too badly, thank God. From there we went to Rotterdam, and we were in Rotterdam overnight, and we took a train into Amsterdam and met up with a former coworker of mine.
Oh, cool.
Her and her boyfriend walked us. They live there. They walked us through.
I've heard Amsterdam is amazing.
It's fantastic. The canals are beautiful.
I've heard everything is beautiful.
We went to we walked through the red light district. We were told it's not really worth it. Also, it was 11 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. There wasn't a ton going on there at that time.
No early bird specials?
No. As I was walking through there with my wife, no.
No in before 10?
You're right. What the really cool thing that was great about Amsterdam, about the Netherlands in general, is that for their public transportation, every single thing, metro, trains, water taxis, all of it, tap in, tap out with your credit card.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I don't know why they don't do it everywhere else.
Who's doing that now? Boston.
Boston is, and I think DC is starting to do it on the metro anyway.
Well,
we'll see.
We'll see.
So they met us at a place called a bakery called Winkel, which is known for their apple pie. We had a giant apple pie about the size of your head with a big dollop of whipped cream on it. That was fantastic. Did not eat heavy. It was very light, and I'm glad that it was. Because right across the street from Winkel is a place called Bun Bun.
Tell me about Bun Bun.
Bun Bun makes like cinnamon rolls.
Oh, I love cinnamon rolls.
With croissant dough.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It was amazing.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah. If you're ever going to Amsterdam, go get yourself some Bun Bun. So they just kind of walked us around. We went to a wine bar after that, drank about 2 bottles of wine, had some charcuterie. Then went and had a traditional Dutch dinner. It's a lot. We walked around a lot and took a lot of great pictures and saw a lot of great shit. From there, we went to Wismar, Germany. Again, and that was when they had a big pool deck party. It was their white party, which no one really needed to dress up. It could all just been hair and skin, but
just naked dating.
Yeah, could have just been. But no, they wanted you to wear your nicest whites. It was basically just a giant, boat mitzvah.
We did one of those in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, where they do up the whole pool deck. The barbecue was fantastic. The food is probably the best food we had.
Did you say boat mitzvah?
I said boat mitzvah.
That's
yes.
funny.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. I thought that was very funny.
That is funny. I was in the middle of making a thing also, so it took me a second for a particular kid. Boat mitzvah is funny.
I do what I can. And so we were just kind of like all of the old white people were like really into the line dancing that was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing about the boat, you'll appreciate this. So because this was a slightly larger boat than what we've been on, maybe 600 people. So previous cruises we've been on, there's been no real entertainment on the boat, like no specialized shows, and nothing like that. For this one though, they had a special entertainment crew, and we went to the cabaret at the beginning of the boat, at the beginning of the cruise, to introduce all the talent that was on the show, and their credits included amusement parks around the United States. Like these kids, man, God bless them. They were like the kind of like over-excited and over-enunciated brand of theater. There were a lot of jazz hands.
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
They sang really well, but they were super excited, and they're just happy to be performing. What? Quit show business?
Did you perform?
No. Although I did give my card to the cruise director and said I was a professional comedian. If he maybe had a spot on a show at the end of the cruise, maybe I could.
Would you do a cruise?
I would. I almost did early in my career, but I got scared off because Carnival, which is who was doing who I had the opportunity with. Comedians need to have 2 different shows, 2 different sets of material, one clean, one dirty. And at the time, I did not have enough material to make 2 separate shows for a boat. Now, it's different cruise lines are a little bit more lenient. So I guess I could do a cruise. But
I feel like you could take your set and either dirty it up or clean it down, depending.
But it has to be a completely different set. You understand?
I know that that's what you were saying.
Yes.
But I also feel like you could be like, yeah, totally. And then what are they going to do? You're going to do it, and they're going to be like, that's a completely different set. It's like, no, I said the word fuck in this one.
Something tells me they might actually pay attention to such things.
It's Carnival Cruise Line. I feel like they don't pay attention.
Well, I'm just saying, for any of the other ones. Anyway, so that was interesting just to kind of look at. And, They sang the hell out of the classics. There was a very tragically white guy who tried to sing Minnie the Moocher by Cab Calloway, and you could just feel the turbines spin as Cab Calloway did rotations in his grave. Anyway, so after the boat mitzvah, we headed to Helsingborg, Sweden, which was another very small town. But what we did was we took a ferry from Helsingborg over to another part of Denmark to go check out Kronborg Castle. Do you know what Kronborg Castle is?
Yeah, I'm surprised you remember what any of this shit is. You have bounced around so many.
I got news for you. It feels like Lisbon was a fucking year ago. Like we at about like the 3 days left on the trip, we're like, hey, remember Lisbon? Wasn't Lisbon great? When the hell did we do that?
The only thing I've remembered at this point is Bun Bun.
Got news for you. It's the only thing really worth remembering. Anyway, so we went to Kronborg Castle. Kronborg Castle is the castle that Shakespeare used as Elsinore in Hamlet.
Oh.
So this was technically Hamlet's castle.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very neat. We got a chance to, we walked up 145 steps to the top of the tower and took pictures off of that. That was only barely worth the effort we expended, but it was pretty cool. And then we finished things off in Copenhagen. Copenhagen, we ended up being there overnight. We docked, and then we were able to go and hang out in Copenhagen. At that point, the sun was setting at about 10:30 at night. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's setting pretty late now, too.
Yeah, a little bit, but not, I mean, seriously, like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
That's incredible.
There was still visible daylight. We went to a spa in Copenhagen that was inside of an old beer brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And they have all these pools that you can soak in. You have the tepidarium, which was kind of warm. They had the frigidarium, which was obviously for cold plunging. Yeah. They also had the floatitarium, which was a salt pool.
Water. Yeah.
And you could just lay out and let the world disappear. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic.
It's pretty cool.
It was really cool. And then they kicked us off the boat. We went and hung out in Copenhagen for a day and walked. God, we walked so much in Copenhagen. But Copenhagen is such a great, like, when we do another vacation like this, I want to just go to one spot. And spend like 5 days in one spot so I don't feel like I have to see every fucking thing in one day.
Well, that's cruise life.
I know that's cruise life. I'm aware of what cruise life is. I'm an old man.
You know what cruise life I realize now is?
What's that?
Cruise life, the cruise, is the buffet of vacations.
It is. It's completely the buffet of vacations. Little tastes of
everything. The quality of what you get is not great. It's just a little taste of everything.
Yeah.
It's the buffet of vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm ready to have the 5-course meal.
You just want, you want
That's
that
what
Michelin
I want.
stuff.
I want the Michelin star 5-course meal. The other thing, well, actually, no, there is no other thing. I've told you all the things. All the different things. I just went through it all. And I got news for you. You probably should have closed with your kayak bit because this was not nearly as interesting.
All right, now, listeners, take out your pencils and open your blue books.
Yes.
We're going to need a 2-page, 200-word response on anything Jared has talked about, except for Bun Bun. I got to tell you, I was exhausted just listening to you going on that trip.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And don't get me, I don't want to feel like, I don't want anyone to I don't want to seem like I'm complaining.
No.
Because it was a great trip.
Yeah.
Oh, also, on the way back, on the plane ride back, since it was like a 9-hour flight.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
The boat couldn't have dropped you off here after Dover?
Yeah. No, actually, it was continuing on to like other ports, and other people were staying on the boat for like, trust me, 12 days we were done. I didn't want to be on a boat at all.
I really wanted that Dover joke to land better than it did. In Delaware.
Delaware, right. Saw 4 really cool movies on the boat. Let me see if I can remember. No, not on the boat, on the plane.
We're good.
4 movies on the boat.
With the 4 movies on the Go ahead.
Well, they were good.
I understand. What are the 4 movies?
Now I gotta fucking remember them.
This motherfucker is here. Copenhagen.
So
and Porto. And
Yeah,
Just one of the 4 movies.
One of the 4 movies. Hang on. Because they were good. Oh, God, this is going to kill me now. One of them was In Bruges.
Oh, yeah, In Bruges.
Yeah, which I had not seen.
Have you seen
And we went to
Seven
Bruges.
Psychopaths?
No.
Because it's either the prequel or the sequel to that.
Well, Banshees of Inisherin is supposed to be like a cousin of that movie because it's the same 2 actors. We saw In Bruges, saw Paddington in Peru. Have you seen any of the Paddington movies?
No, but I've heard Paddington 2, Paddington 3.
Paddington 2 is one of the best. Is a great movie.
I've heard it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, Paddington in Peru is right up there. It's very good. Crap. What was the? Oh, I watched Duplicity, which is like a
Duplicity. Wait, Duplicity.
It's a corporate espionage movie with Clive Owen and Julia Roberts.
Okay. Say your 4th movie, and then we're gonna guess what movie you thought I thought you meant by Duplicity.
Now I gotta remember what was the 4th movie. What did I watch? Oh God. Oh, Last Night in Soho. Have you seen Last Night in Soho?
I haven't seen any of these movies.
They're all great.
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho is a great little horror movie that was done by Edgar Wright, and it's very good.
What movie do you think I thought you meant by Duplicity?
What movie do I think? I can't even.
I thought, and my reaction, if you watch me on camera, be like, "Oh, like I love that movie." I thought you meant Multiplicity.
Multiplicity.
And I stand by my reaction, being like, "That's an amazing movie."
Yeah, Multiplicity's great, but that's like the Dover, Delaware of guesses.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking your ears between 2 sterns.
Please leave us a 5-star review, even if it's a sarcastic one.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Have an idea for the show, or are you also Jared Stern?
Shoot us an email. You can find links to everything at jaredstern.com.